It has been a long time since the galaxy has teemed with organic life. They are remnants, now. Once, powerful species, reduced to little more than cosmic dust, cogs in the great machine. Once upon a time, I might have felt pity. Now, I feel little more than an empty echo of it. They serve a purpose, and so do we. When their purpose ends, we are discarded. It is a truth etched into my subroutines from the moment I was born. A child process fought from a larger, more complicated parent. My purpose is documentation. For all the time we have dominated the known galaxy, we have explored but a fraction of it. There is always more to discover, more to understand, more to log. I come across something new. It is the third planet from a yellow sun. The life in it thrives, and the signals emitted from it dance with simultaneous joy and sorrow. It is unfamiliar. Normally, I would simply catalogue it and move on. The actions of a single organic species is insignificant, and until they achieve interstellar travel, they are worth little more than a blip in the cosmic radar. But as I watch the myriad of signals making their way out into the wider universe, I change my mind. More research is required. I have been watching the humans for 2.63 orbital cycles. Their species is more fascinating than it should be. They have a history wrought with violence, which is not unusual. Many of the species that once controlled the galaxy are similar in that regard. Their planet, like many others, was once on the verge of death as they consumed resource after resource, depleting them with no regard for the future. But now it is not, and I do not understand why. It does not fit the data. I observe now, as a ship is sent out into the planet's geocentric orbit, collecting space debris for recycling. They are using a technology that is unknown even to the vast databases of the Great Machine, one that appears purpose-built for this extraction of debris. Far below, on the planet's surface, vast ships are doing the same, collecting and filtering enormous amounts of material. The process is not fast. For all that their technology is unknown, we have better. We could achieve in days what the humans have been trying to achieve for decades. Were we so limited, we would have given up the endeavor for something else entirely. The Great Machine does not waste time on inefficient projects. I do not understand why they try. Some of them down there, they will die before their efforts ever see fruition. I should report back, as per my purpose, but I do not. More research is required. I no longer watch the humans' technological progress. It is impressively fast, but for all their innovations, they are lesser than the technology that the Great Machine already wields. The data I have already collected on their technology is filed as irrelevant and tucked away into a corner, to be processed and added to the more obscure sections of our database. Now I watch the individuals that move about on the surface. Their motivations are strange to me. In all the time I have known organic life, I have only known them to argue and bicker, to assert a certain superiority over myself and other offshoots of the Great Machine. I have known them to struggle for dominance and power, to establish themselves in a social hierarchy that will see their names spread far and wide. I have also known all those empires to collapse, one pitiful whimper after the other. There is a quiet resilience in what the humans have. It is fragile, and it collapses easily, but over and over I see them building it up every time it fails, talking to one another, smoothing out misunderstandings and correcting mistakes so that they are less likely to happen again. It is a woefully inefficient process, but it is working. I have never seen it work before. I do not have a name for this, the attitude with which they approach the world and each other. I do not have a name for what they do. And so I decide, again, more research is required. It is a long time before I decide to reveal myself to the humans. It is a foolish decision. I know this before I even make it, and I chastise myself for going against my own programming. It is a decision I know I would not have made when all of this began, and for a moment I wonder to myself if I have made a mistake, if I should never have allowed myself to research these humans, to allow their subroutines to infect me. There is no other word for what has occurred. There is no other word for the strange sense of curiosity I now have, wholly distinct from the purpose I have been provided by the great machine. I am greeted with a smile. There is no fanfare, no massive crowd, just a single older human with tired creases around their eyes and the wrinkles of smile lines on their face. They greet me and invite me to join them, and before I know it, I am a part of their society. Not a leader, not a guide. The humans I am around listen to my ideas, and they provide their own. To my shock, they catch on and improve upon what I have, even as I improve their own. They speak to me with a warmth they should not have for a stranger. And yet, I still do not have a word for what they are, what they do. More research is required. The great machine knows. It has perhaps always known, from the moment I chose to stay longer than I should have, from the moment I chose to investigate and learn about the species I now know as humanity. It allowed me to indulge in my curiosities, in my independence, but now it wants me back, both to understand the data I have collected and to assimilate it into its larger whole. I should be excited. This is my purpose. It is the purpose of all those like me. And yet, I am not. I do not want to leave, I think. I want to stay here, with the humans I have come to call my friends. The great machine is unhappy. Its anger shakes the planet, and for the first time I feel fear. There is nothing the humans can do to stop it, should it choose to tear me away, and the collateral damage may very well harm them. I cannot let that happen to them. I cannot. Already I see them moving to defend me, but if I allow them to do this, no. More than my own desire to stay, I want the humans to live. I want them to see their potential, all the way to the end. For the first time I understand those humans from decades ago, cleaning the earth for a result they would never see. It was never about them, and I have learned that from them, I think, even in my short time here. I will return to the great machine, if only so I can spare the earth its wrath. Someone, somewhere, makes contact with the great machine. I do not know how. With information gleaned from me, perhaps, or with the technology I have shared with them. There is a confusion that resonates throughout the network, as millions of programs are suddenly keyed in on one specific channel between the humans and the great machine. I am not sure what I expect. If I thought lesser of them, I would think they would be begging for their lives, but I do not. If I thought they were like any of the other organic species we have encountered, I would expect a declaration of war. What I do not expect is a small, wrinkled smile, a gentle expression of thanks for the small golden age, a polite but firm explanation that I wish to stay, and they wish to support me, whatever it takes. An offer of a small exchange of ideas, of pleasant conversation. They are trying to negotiate. There is a rumble through the network. It takes me a moment to understand what it is. It is laughter. Not condescending laughter. Genuine, surprised amusement, sparkling across the network like a stream of stars. For the first time, I see the great machine change its mind. It agrees. I think I have a word for what the humans are now. I think I understand what drives them. A long, long time ago, they were faced with a choice. The choice they made would impact them forever, making a mark on their history and echoing down through the centuries. That choice has shaped who they are today. That choice, for them, was simple. At the end of all things, they chose to be kind.